accent before. You can do it. Day and night. That's right. Day and
Oh. So we are here again. Hello, everybody, to Day and Night Conversations, where we talk day
and night.
And day.
And night.
And night.
Oh, that's right.
Your girl, Yawande. I'm here with my girl, Nancy.
Burgundy Nancy.
Hey,
that's
hey,
right.
hey.
That's right. That's
we
right.
are here today, and I think we should be celebrating today because today is also our
30th anniversary. Yes.
So bravo.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
30th, not anniversary, 30th podcast episode. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening to us, for supporting us. Yay.
So that's amazing. We're coming along.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, a lot has been done and a lot to come. So thank you to all of our viewers for listening to us, for being there, supporting us. Thank you for all the shout outs, for all the likes, all the posts and reposts. We love you guys.
Yeah.
We have 30 more episodes and many more to come.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Today we are here with Bria.
Yes. Bria, hello.
Yes. Hey, Bria.
Like you guys don't see me all the time. I'm usually on the other side of the camera.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
but you look good in front of the camera.
Yeah.
It's makeup.
You look amazing.
Please, girl.
No one would ever know that you had a baby like 2 months ago.
Yeah. 2 months ago.
So we're so happy to have you, Bria.
Yes.
You know, we're talking to you in front of the camera. This is nice.
Yes, and so today we're going to be talking a bit more about the educational system.
My other passion.
Yes, kids of very young age and seeing what's happening with the different laws in Canada.
Oh, God, not even Canada, just Quebec on its own. Everything that has happened over the past decade, let's say. The amount of changes in childcare and what's available for everybody. There's just
so we're gonna get educated today.
Yeah.
But before we get educated, could you tell us a bit more about your background?
So I am a Vanier College graduate. Woohoo!
VC
represent.
That's right.
Graduated in 2013, I think it was. Long time ago. Way too long ago.
It's not that far.
Long enough. I've worked in after school programs. I've worked in private sector daycares, CPEs. Right now I'm on maternity leave from a CPE, which I'm very excited to go back to. But yeah.
Congratulations on the baby.
Yeah.
So what's the age range?
So I've worked with babies from about 4 months all the way up until 12 years old.
4 months? You teach kids that are 4? I know there's the sign language thing that
you can do sign language, but it's also
what are you teaching a 4-month-old? They're pooping, they're peeing.
No, but you have to interact with them. They have to have that social interaction of, all right, guys, here's a song that you can play, finger plays, tummy time, playing on a mat, showing them different colors, painting.
So for young parents that just had a kid, even if it's been a few months, you can still start doing stuff?
I did a painting activity with my newborn when he was about 2 weeks old.
Wow.
Yeah. Got some paint on his feet just to get him active, just to do something.
Interacting with the world.
Yeah.
Okay. They say kids are like sponges, right?
They're
taking everything. I mean, myself, I remember when I was pregnant, I was thinking of all the things I should do with my kids, and I actually taught my kids sign language, and that was how we communicated when they were before the age of 1.
Yeah.
And my first daughter I started doing the sign language to her, and of course she would just sit there and stare at me like, what the hell is that? Yeah. And then eventually,
it caught on.
She caught on, and eventually she was doing things. I thought she was just, doing baby stuff, but she was actually using the signs to communicate. Wow. And it's amazing. And
so when babies do sign language, do you think they do sign language before they actually start talking, right?
Yeah, the whole point, I guess, Bria, you could tell us, the frustrations for kids to be able to communicate. It's a big thing, right?
Yeah. Well, I can actually give my own personal story about this. I worked with a little boy who had 0 hearing problems. So he could hear, he could speak, no problem. But both of his parents were deaf. So his parents would only communicate with him in sign language. So he would come to daycare, and we'd be talking to him, and he'd have no idea what we were saying because he's not used to hearing words. He's used to us doing signs.
Oh.
So
it works both ways.
Yeah. So we would be talking and doing the signs. Ask me to do the signs now. I barely know them. It's only because of my little cousins who also learned sign language just for the fun of it, just to communicate that I know some of the signs. But working with that little boy, we had classes on sign language. Oh. So we would really have to know, okay, are you thirsty? Are you hungry? Are you tired? Your diaper needs to be changed. And it was a lot of fun speaking with the mom, speaking with her, doing signs with her, because she can't hear. So I'd be talking to her interpreter. He's doing the signs, so I'm talking normally. He's doing all the signs, and I'm just like, I'm stopping, and he's just like, no, keep talking, because she's looking at me doing the signs, and she's understanding what I'm saying. And then when she would sign back to him, he would be explaining what she's signing. So right there, huge experience. Wow. So he did understand, and he was 18 months. He was actually
crazy. Wow, so little. But the whole thing with sign language, I think, is kids being able to communicate, because so many kids, especially before they're verbal,
right?
They just get frustrated. That's how you see kids like biting other kids. It's because it's a lack of being able to communicate, right? And like working in a daycare, that's one thing I always admired, like being able to take care of someone else's child. Like sometimes when you see these kids acting up, don't you just want to like smack them?
Oh,
just smack them.
Oh, like, it's coming out.
I mean, I know you're not allowed, but that's the one thing I know I could never work with kids, because the way you want to discipline your own kids, you obviously can't do that with other people's kids, right?
Well, and now you're taped, right? Like my my friend has her kid in daycare, and there's a camera, so even when she's at work, she like has her cell phone there, and she like sees her daughter live the whole time.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah, so the center that I work at, we do have cameras, but the parents don't have access to it.
Okay,
that's a whole.
So who's the camera for?
The camera's for our bosses. So let's say child is playing, trips, falls, bashes his head on the table, your back was turned. You didn't see what happened. You're like, okay, what happened? Instead of calling the parents saying, okay, hey, hi, Mrs. Yawande, just to let you know, your child slipped and fell. We don't really know what happened, but there's blood everywhere, and you have to come pick them up, bring them to the hospital.
Nah, I would have a total problem with them having a camera at the daycare that I don't have access to. Like if there's a camera there, why wouldn't the parents have access to it?
They have access to it if there's an emergency. But the only people who have access to it are the bosses. And that's something that's in the contract. So it's my boss, his wife, who's also an owner of the daycare, and, la directrice of the daycare, who have access to it. And let's say there's an accident like that, they will bring the parents, like, okay, here, you can see what happened. But they're not just going to be like, okay, what did little Tommy do today? Okay, come in the back, like, you can come see the camera. Even the educators don't have access to the cameras.
See, that's crazy. I think that's the difference between the daycare system in Canada versus the States too. Because in the States, where you can sue people and so many crazy things happen there, I see so much more frequently that there's cameras in daycares and people getting caught doing things on camera at daycares in the States versus here. And I'm wondering if it's because
happens here.
It happens for sure.
Here.
But I'm just saying I don't know very many daycares that parents have access to the camera. But in the States, everybody I know in the States who has a kid in daycare, there's cameras at the daycare that they can watch their kid remotely. Yeah.
There's more trust here. There's more trust.
Because we're Canadian.
There's more trust. We trust each other. We like each other. We know each other. It's all good.
Let me give you an example of broken trust then within daycares. Okay. So I worked at a private sector daycare. And at one point, the bosses said, okay, we're not going to be using wipes anymore. It's too expensive.
Okay.
But they were telling the parents, you're paying us a certain amount that it covers the wipes. You guys bring your diapers, but we provide the wipes. We're going to be using those little face cloths. We're going to take those face cloths, we're going to use them on your child's privates, and at the end of the day, you're going to dump them in bleach. And then
And this is at a private daycare.
It's at a private daycare.
Parents are paying maybe $50, $60 a day?
Exactly.
Wow.
Parents did not know that this was happening, that they were no longer being bought wipes.
And this is why they need access to cameras.
Well...
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I had such a moral complex that I used my own money to go buy wipes for my group, because I was like, I do not want to be using a face cloth that's been in bleach overnight and just wash quickly.
I would lose it. I would lose it. That's the whole problem I have, like not trusting people with my kids. It's not because I'm a super paranoid person, you know what I mean? Like I'm the type of person, like I will trust you until you break my trust, you know what I'm saying? But when it comes to your kids, there's so many messed up people out there that you have to be on edge. Like when you're like they're wiping kids' faces with the same cloth.
No. They weren't wiping the faces.
Well, it was a face cloth.
It was a face cloth that now got transitioned to.
They were
okay. So let's say a kid needed to wipe his face. Did they have a separate stash?
Yes, they had a separate stash. Oh yes. They had a separate stash.
So for people who are having kids that are like, you know, young parents, what should they look for as someone who's been in the industry who now has their own kid? What do you look for in a daycare? What are the signs? What are the questions you should ask to make sure that they have the best?
You need to make sure that you're going to visit the daycare. First and foremost, you need to go and see the daycare that you're possibly putting your child in.
Okay, not just Google Maps and then the nearest one. Like
exactly. You can look what's in your area.
Okay.
But you need to know. You need to go visit it.
Okay.
You need to go see it first and foremost.
Okay.
Second off, you need to go when it's daytime. You need to go when the children are awake, when they're in activities, when it's probably the highest stressful moment for an educator. So that's usually between 12 and noon.
Oh, so
10 and noon, sorry.
So you would have parents visiting you while you were like teaching your class?
Oh, yeah. And coming into my classroom, and you can't just all of a sudden, okay, kids, shh, there's somebody in here, okay, calm, you have to look, you have to look good. No, this is your everyday. So if I have a little child who's in a complete meltdown, I'm sorry, this kid's in a meltdown. I can tell the parents, I'm sorry, you know, he's having a meltdown. Maybe you can come back and visit the class after. Or just be like, sorry, boss, you know, it's one of those days. He's having a rough day.
Yeah.
And then usually in that kind of situation, my boss might come back and be like, okay, hey, how's this kid doing? What was the meltdown for? But if you're going to a daycare and everything is perfect, something's wrong.
Why?
Because it's a daycare. Nothing is supposed to be perfect.
So what is the level of imperfection to accept then, I guess? Like, what are the things that you would look out for specifically?
I guess it goes based on your standards, right?
Yeah, as long as so the ratio goes for 0, because there are some daycares that accept newborns, all the way up to 18 months.
Okay.
It's 1 educator for 5 children. From 18 months, so a year and a half, all the way up until 4.5, it's 1 educator for 8. And then 4.5 to 5, it's 1 educator for 10. So you're looking to see if the ratios are respected. So usually you're not going to do a visit at a daycare when not all the educators are in. So there are going to be times during the day that you can't, it's inevitable. The educator is going to be over ratio.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Because parents you don't have a fixed schedule for parents to be dropping off their children or picking them up.
I thought, not a fixed schedule, you have like a
time frame.
A time frame, exactly.
The time frame to drop off your child at daycare is from 7 in the morning till, let's say, for where I work at, it's until 9:30, 10.
This is for private daycares, right? Because home daycares can do whatever they want, right?
Private daycares can do whatever they want too. It kind of goes on a case per case, but for most daycares, private, public, you want your child there before 10 a.m. Because between 10 and noon, that's when you have your activities, you have your outdoor play, you have lunch. So if you're dropping off your child at 11:30, you might be dropping them off in lunchtime. So they've missed the entire day, and they might be destabilizing the group as it's established for the day. So I usually go in the morning, blank slate. I have no idea how the children are going to be in the morning. I have no idea how they're going to be feeling. One of them might have had a bad night. One of them might be really hyper. It might be a full moon. It might be the weather.
A full moon?
Oh, full moons are the worst. When it's a full moon outside, we all just go, all right, scrap what we had planned today. Let's just bring them outside and hope for the best.
Okay.
But at least with the kids, like, you kind of know what to expect. Like, you've studied, you know kids, you've worked in different centers and stuff like that. So you know how much a kid could act up or not. But I think probably the parents could be more of a hassle than the kids, because the parents could be unpredictable, right? Because I've just going to the grocery store and just seeing some parents with their kids, I'm like, your kid isn't the problem. I think it's you.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So what kind of experiences have you had with bad parents, or were you felt sorry for the kid?
What not to do? Tell the audience what not to do.
What not to do.
I'm sure
it's just patience.
That's the hardest thing.
That's
No
the
one
hard-
has patience.
That's the hardest thing. And that kind of plays into where we are as a society right now, is that everything is go, 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 go. We're not taking the time to stop. So there was one parent that when she would come pick up her child, and this child was doing some pretty interesting days. Sometimes they were doing short days, someday it was long days. You never knew until the child was gone.
Okay.
So the mom would come to pick up the child, and she'd be on her phone. And the child's saying, "Oh, look what I did today." Yeah, okay. Okay, are you dressed? Can you go get dressed? Okay.
No.
Yeah. So you feel sorry for that child. She's like, what is happening at home then?
That's rough.
You just finished your day. You haven't seen your child all day, but you're still on your phone. And that's for a disgustingly enormous amount of parents when they come to pick up their children.
They're kind of disinterested.
Exactly. They're on their phone. And I kind of get it. And I get it in the sense that there's some days where a child will come and tell me the same story about 30 times. And I just go,
Oh, that was interesting
Okay.
the first time.
yeah, yeah.
But that's what kids. That's what it means to be a kid. We've all been kids. We've all been annoying. We've all had the same story repeated over and over again. You know what I mean? But what do you think? What do you think the impact of this is taking on kids? Because back in the day, I mean, I went to daycare. I hated daycare. I cried every single day I went to daycare. All I wanted to be with was with my mom, sometimes with my dad, mostly with my mom. Like, she was my comfort. And I would just cry all the time. So all the pictures I have of myself at daycare as a child, I'm either crying or sitting on the teacher's lap, borderline crying. That was it. So, and that was before technology. That was before iPads and tablets. So now that kids spend so much time, not necessarily with their parents one-on-one, do you find kids are more disconnected to their parents?
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, you do see it, right?
Yeah.
And you think it's going to mess them
Like
up?
more
What's the
disconnected, as in like they want the iPad, like they want.
It's a sense that I've become the parent to these children because they're spending. Let's say there's some children who are spending 7 a.m. till 5:30 in the afternoon at daycare.
That's a long time.
That's longer than what most people do in a day, and that's what they're spending away from their parents. When the parents come pick them up, what do you do when you finish work? Well, you have to cook.
Yeah.
Then you have to get ready you have to, if you have older children, then there's homework, and then you got to get ready. So bath time, and then bed.
Yeah.
Children are in bed around, let's say, 8 o'clock. So they're picked up at 5:30. Time to get home, let's say it's 6. So 6 to 8. But you still have to cook supper.
Yeah.
When is the time that the child is having with their parents?
And
They're
now,
not.
And now you see, I always knew daycare to be the place that you send your kids if you didn't have any family that could take care of your child, or if you had both. Like now, most families, both parents are working, so there was no other option. But now you're seeing stay-at-home moms taking their kids to daycare.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
Stay-at-home moms?
Yeah, stay-at-home moms. They wake up in the morning, they take the kid to daycare, they go to the gym, they go get a facial, they do groceries, they go hang out with their girlfriends.
I guess that's the lifestyle that they want, and like that's.
But
that's
I'm okay.
How they.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't find that a problem.
You don't?
I don't, because some of these children need to be in daycare, because at home, that mom who might be going to the gym, getting a facial, might not be able to handle the interaction that child needs at that time.
Yeah, that's
to
true.
do that every day, those children. So a lot of the children that I work with at the daycare, a lot of them, their moms are stay-at-home moms, and it's not a bad thing, because those are the children who are getting dropped off very late in the morning and getting picked up first in the afternoon. So they're not having these super long days. And those parents, I love them to death, because when they come to pick up their child, let's say they usually get picked up at 4, but they come at 4:15, they're running in. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to leave you here for so long. And it's like, hey, calm down. It's 15 minutes. It's not the end of the world. But for them, they have their child in daycare to have that socialization. They're in the daycare to learn alphabet, cutting skills, how to be potty trained, and then they go home and then they have their family time.
So wait, you potty train the kids too?
Yeah, we do everything.
Wow.
Potty
So
training is the worst.
what's the difference between pre-K and, because there's a new law that for Quebec in particular, where they're thinking about making it mandatory, right? So
Well,
what's the difference between pre-K and like a just like a
So what the government
like garderie? How do you say
kindergarten
that? Kindergarten. Well,
is maternelle.
okay.
Yeah.
But there was something else.
Well, so my daycare has a preschool program.
Oh, daycare and kindergarten.
Yeah,
Pre-K.
so
Yeah, what's the
preschool
difference?
programs are usually in daycares. So that's when you do 4 to 5, you start learning your alphabet, how to write, cutting skills, gluing skills, because believe it or not, there is a proper way to glue.
Okay.
And just overall how to act in school. So we're preparing them in preschool for school.
But doesn't daycare do that as well?
But that's daycare.
Okay.
That's in daycare.
Okay.
When you go to the pre-K, well, they don't even really call it pre-K. They want to put them in maternelle. They want to put them in kindergarten right away. They want to start accepting 3-year-olds
in kindergarten.
In kindergarten.
Oh, so kindergarten for 3, 4, 5?
Exactly.
Okay.
So they're trying to make these children grow up so much faster. So when you look at a daycare program versus a school program, it's very strict. You're asking children to be sitting down in a chair for pretty long periods of time. Playtime is diminished significantly, and also outside time is diminished. When you look at daycare, I kind of have a free schedule. If I go in one morning and I see that the children are jumping off the walls and they're just absolutely crazy, if I had planned that day to do tracing or writing, I'll leave it for another day. And I'll say, okay, you guys are excited? I'm lucky enough that my daycare has a gym area. Let's go to the gym. Let's put on some music. Let's play. Let's dance. Or, hey, you know what? Let's go outside. Let's go play in the yard for a bit. Schools don't have that. Schools, they have their curriculum. They have to stick to it.
And there would be a curriculum for a 3-year-old?
Yeah.
There needs to be, right? I don't see a problem with them starting school, let's say, or kindergarten at age 3. I think that in Canada, especially in Quebec, where the kids are way behind academically. When you look at kids in the West Indies, when you look at kids even in certain parts of the States, like they are so much more advanced. I have cousins in the States who were reading at the level that some of my other cousins here weren't reading at, and they were 3 years younger than them. Yeah. So I really find we're behind. I think it's great. The only objection I have is that we have to change the curriculum. Yes. We can't expect the kid at 3 years old to sit down like a kid at 5.
Of
and
course
you're putting
not.
them in the same.
But that's what they're doing.
And that's why I say we're so behind, because we're always trying to move forward, but we're not considering everything that needs to be done to move forward in the proper way. That's the problem.
And also the teachers. You have to train more teachers, because a teacher that teaches like a 6-year-old can't teach the same way to a 3-year-old.
Yeah, and all the teachers here are leaving anyways. So.
Yeah, but they wanted to take daycare educators and put them in the schooling system. That was their plan. That was something that when I was at Vanier, they were talking about. And saying, okay, we're going to train you guys as, educators for 0 to 5, but we're going to take you and put you in the school system along with a teacher who's teaching elementary school level. So you'd be working in tandem to work with the children who are 3, 4, 5.
That doesn't make sense. I'm not gonna teach a 7-year-old the same way I'm gonna teach a 3-year-old.
Exactly.
That's impossible. Like I used to teach English in China for a long time, and I had 3-year-olds, and then I also had my oldest was 16. But you see a big difference between the 3-year-old class and the 6-year-old class.
Oh, yes.
And for people who don't have kids, they're like, yeah, it's all the same. No, there's a big developmental gap.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Going back to daycares, so Quebec, we have subsidized daycares, right? Yeah. Which is something that's very unique, because in Ontario, for instance, our neighbors, they don't have that.
Oh gosh, they need to do something with their daycares.
And so we have the privilege of being able to send our children to daycare for as little as almost $8 a day, right? Mm-hmm. But the rules have changed over the years as how you register for a CPE. Can you give us a little bit more insight how it used to be and how it is now? Because I feel like it's becoming more and more difficult. Myself personally, I put my daughter on a daycare list the day she was born. She's 3 years old, and I have yet to get a call back.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, I found a daycare, but you know what I'm saying? What if I didn't know anybody?
Yeah. Yeah. So if you didn't know anybody, sorry, you're stuck. You have to put them in one of the private sectors, which you're paying about $40 plus a day, which is for some people it's a lot, but there is, I don't know exactly what it is, but there is a tax return or a tax credit that they're able to reimburse you for most of it. But they have something called La Place 05. And what that is you sign up your child. When I was pregnant, I put my child on the list for La Place 05.
The what? The place?
Place 05.
Place.
Place.
Okay,
it's French because we're in Quebec.
Okay, Place 05. Okay, it's a law or something? daycare?
It's not a law. It's a website where all the daycares, public, private, home centers, you see all of them in your area, in your work area, and you can sign up for them. That's where you go on the registration list.
Okay.
But you're only officially on that registration list once the child is born. So, no, don't quote me on how many years ago, but let's say 6-7 years ago, there was this huge problem that parents were putting their children on a list for a daycare before they were even pregnant. Because they were waiting so long to get on these lists.
Yeah.
So I know you asked like how it was before. I don't remember.
Okay.
But I know how it is now.
You have to have your child's date of birth to register and a name for your child. So now
not just that. There's a certain number on the birth certificate that you need to put in.
Oh.
If you don't have that number, you're not getting on the list.
Okay, because I did it 3 years ago. I didn't need a number. Because I did it in the hospital. Like, I remember very clearly. I was like, pushed her out. And I was like, passing my phone.
Wow. Okay.
So maybe that's why you didn't get a call back. You didn't put that number in that's on the birth certificate.
No, well, they call, like, I mean, I've received calls about it, like updating my file and all that stuff. Because you have to update it every, I think, 6 months to keep it active. So I keep getting emails to update it. But I'm like, you people are not for real. Like, updating, how much updating can I do?
So for the audience, when you're thinking of getting a kid, or when you're like pregnant, or like register your kid.
Yeah. Wait till they're born, and wait till you have the birth certificate, basically, because you can go on a list.
Well, as soon as they get popped out, like just do like your one day and just like
but
put
you need that number to actually register on a list.
So you don't get the birth certificate on the first day?
You get it a couple of weeks later.
Register for it,
yeah.
But I think the best way, it's all about who you know, because most people I know that are in daycares that they really love, they either had family members that went there or friends and referred them, because they'll always let you in if you know somebody. A daycare will always want to take somebody they know versus somebody they don't know.
Yeah.
Why are daycares picky like that?
Because you get some
crazy parents.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You get crappy parents, so they prefer to deal with,
Yeah, if I recommended somebody, so even as an educator, I could recommend somebody for work. And I can be like, okay, you know what? I know this educator, and she's looking for a job, do her interview. They'll most likely hire her, to be honest. Versus somebody coming up to the daycare, here's my CV. They're going to look at it and go, maybe we'll do an interview. Maybe we'll get a call back.
You don't know what you're getting into.
Know you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, one thing I have to ask you, though, this is like not completely off, but I have to ask you, like, how many kids have you seen doo-doo their pants? Because that is like my biggest fear. Like, even if my own kids,
why?
I don't know. I have a thing with shit. Like, I think it's so.
So it's not a fetish. It is not a fetish, audience.
Not a fetish.
Some people have something for peace.
Like,
some people.
Okay, a baby changing a diaper, it's fine. But when the kids grow up and then it's like a turd, like a log of poo, and then it's in, because my kids have never shit their pants. Please, thank God they haven't.
Knock on wood.
I'm just thinking of changing like another child shitty pants, and I would honestly, I would leave. I would quit on the spot. I wouldn't be able to take it out of the pants and like.
Well, I'm sure they have they have gloves for that.
Oh yeah. We have.
It's happened, right? It happens.
Yeah. You're asking me how many times. I stopped counting because
wow.
I can tell you how many times it's been
too.
but I can tell you how many times it's been so bad that I've said, okay, someone needs to cover my class because I need to go give this child a bath in like one of our industrial sinks because it was that bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
It happens, man. It happens.
No, I know
it's like a nurse or a person like who works at a old people's home.
I know what happens. That's why I said I just want to know how many times, and that's why I don't work with kids. I wouldn't be able to deal with it.
Just wait until your children get gastro. That's when
but she has. I don't think she has a problem with her own kids. It's other people's kids.
Okay,
but what if her kid? Because you guys know each other. What if her kids has a sleepover at yours for like for
my kids
fun?
don't sleep over anywhere.
No, but eventually.
No.
Okay. No. No sleepover for kids. No, but my cousin too. My cousin too. She has kids and no sleepovers. And like the oldest one, maybe like when he was 13.
Perfect. That's great. Mine's 17.
Oh,
no sleepovers.
But can other people come to your house?
Yes.
Okay. So what if her kid comes to your house?
And
for
shits
sleep.
their pants.
Yeah. What you gonna do?
She's gonna
What you
call
gonna
me-
do?
she's gonna call
Then
me
be
one
like,
time,
Bria,
come get your child. He just shit himself.
I don't believe in treating kids bad, okay? There's some kids that are terrible, and I just don't even look at them. And if I was in a situation where I was responsible to take care of a child, and the child...
She's looking at me like, hold on, let me look away.
It would depend on the size of the turd. Like,
Are you
if
gonna
if it's
All
something
right.
small, I could deal. But some kids shit big. Like, you see these little cute kids go in, you go in the bathroom to flush, it's just log coming out the toilet. Like, I can't do with that. I can't.
you've been looking at kids poo.
I think I've been traumatized. I saw a couple poos that were just...
Where do you see these poos? Like,
Because children
Big
don't know how to
family, man.
flush.
Or, you know,
okay. So for the audience, when you teach your kids how to poo, it's important to teach them how to flush. Or else,
When they go to the bathroom, period, you go to the bathroom, flush. Nobody.
But
wants
sometimes the toilet plays tricks on you. You know when you flush it, it just pops back up.
Oh, the other thing,
Can't fight
teach
that.
them to wash their hands, please,
yes.
parents.
Yes.
If I can tell parents anything, teach your children when you're done in the bathroom, wash your hands.
and also front to back.
They need to. That's something they're gonna learn anyway. But
No.
washing their hands,
There's some grown people up here that don't know.
When you say
and-
up here, you're talking about in this room.
no, not here. But I'm just saying for
Gotta be
adults,
specific.
adult.
okay, wait,
people.
why do you know what people are not wiping?
I'm just
front to
saying,
back?
and for everybody, just all humans
Everybody,
of all ages.
Nancy wants to make sure you wipe the
front
right
to
way.
back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's just
Just wash your hands, because I've
Yeah.
seen. So at the daycare, we don't have a bathroom for adults. So we have one bathroom that's for children that we have a door that locks.
Okay.
So educators use it. We see parents use it. Sometimes we'll hear the toilet flush and the door click opens right away, and we're looking at the parents like,
Disgusting.
we know you didn't wash your hands.
That's rough.
Like, go back and wash your hands, please.
yeah.
And that's how most diseases, like kids have so many things. Like they can get and gastro is pretty normal. It's pretty
Yeah.
frequent. And then they
Hand,
have
foot, and mouth,
Yes.
impetigo, the flu. What's another bad one?
most of them are because people are
but
not
it's
clean.
important to have it at a young age, though. So it builds up the resistance. You know, the blood cells and the white blood cells.
Foot, and mouth. There's something like 40-something different strains of it. So if you get it once, you got one strain. There is zero guarantee that you're not going to get a different of those like 40-something
I have a question.
strains.
How many kids have coughed in your mouth?
No.
I said I was teaching in China young kids.
So-
and you're like, the little Chinese kids are so cute, and they're like, teach apple, yeah, it's red apple. They're like, but damn.
For our viewers, our audience in the back are dying of laughter.
I would dash that
You
kid.
didn't answer the question though.
I would dash that
Have we
kid.
coughed in my mouth? No.
Okay.
I would dash that
But
kid.
then you have to get to their level.
Because
though.
I see it coming. Now I'm at the point where I look at the child and I'm like, you're about to go.
I can't.
Or the sneeze.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Sneeze cough.
You teach them from so young. When you cough, when you sneeze, in your
and
elbow.
now it's the dab, right? It's the when I was younger, it was the hand. Now,
No,
but
that's
when
no
we were
good.
kids, when I was younger, it was like you put your hand in front of your mouth.
So they did. So they did the test about that, where they put the almighty glitter. Glitter gets on everything. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter how much you wash. Doesn't matter if you have like a little bubble around it. Glitter gets on everything.
Yeah.
So they put glitter on one child's hands. And they said, "Go, touch this, touch that." And then they said, "Okay, now look around and find where all the glitter is." And it was everywhere. And that's why they said, "Stop coughing in your hands."
Okay.
Because your hand is immediately getting the germs, and the next thing you touch, some of the germs have gone into that thing.
But nothing gets in your inner arm. Like,
You're not opening a door with the inside of your arm.
like I don't know when
Your hands
was
touch
the
everything.
last time something touched my inner arm that wasn't my hand, like in
Or
the shower
clothes,
wash.
or
Yeah, but like
Nothing.
or my boyfriend, like like who's
Scratching the inside of your
yeah, like what touches your inner arm? Like nothing.
your germs.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
you cough the right way. Another thing I can't stand with kids is like when their nose is running and then they wipe it and then they have like snot going all across their face.
Yeah.
And like I always see like those snotty ass, excuse my language, those really snotty kids coming off the bus. It's like your teacher didn't wipe your face, your parents didn't want to look out for you. Like they just carry that all day long.
I have
know.
literally taken a cloth and put it on a child's shirt, and I said, whenever you feel like it, just this kid still has just still snot. Or the worst is when you just see the tongue come out.
It tastes salty. It's like chips. It tastes salty.
Well,
it's like a little snack.
Next subject, please, because my appetite is gone.
So like I was looking up school shootings.
Oh yes,
and in the States, and I was like, how about Canada? And it's not that bad. I thought, I was like, oh my God, I want to send my kid? Like, it's really not that bad in Canada.
The school shootings.
Yeah, there's like, I saw, and there's like, since 2009, there's only been like 3.
Yeah, we're pretty good here. It's also because we have gun control.
Yes.
But
still be safe.
Okay. I could say when I was working in the daycare, so we all have solo classes.
Okay.
So what that means is I'm alone with my group of children.
Okay.
And each class is like that. Everyone's alone in their class. And where my class was located at the time was right next to the door to come in. Mm-hmm. So let's say if someone wanted to come into the daycare, I was the bouncer. You had to go through me.
Okay.
And
is that said to you, like you have to see?
Yeah, well, my classroom's right there. So in my boss's office, she has a big screen TV where she has a camera looking at the doorway, so she can see. But there were times, because I used to do the closing, so that would mean I would be there till 6 at night. Mm-hmm. There'd be parents or grandparents or the nanny or an aunt coming to pick up the child and wouldn't have the code to get in. Mm. And even if they did have the code to get in, they'd walk in the door, hey, who are you? Who are you coming to pick up? Or they'd come in and look around, I don't know where I'm going, and they'd ask, oh, where's so-and-so's class? But who are you? Why are you, like, how'd you get in here?
Okay.
Or some parents, they would hold the door open for, someone's looking for the daycare, and people would just walk in. I'd be like, no, what are you doing here?
So do you guys have drills, or is there something you have with the kids?
We had, so not at this daycare less, because we do have such a strict protocol for who can get into the daycare. Mm-hmm. And our front classroom does have like a window, so we can see outside, so we can see who's coming in and out of the building on top of it. So we do fire drills every October about. Mm-hmm. But I remember at a daycare doing an intruder drill where they just said, okay, there's someone who's not allowed in the daycare, and we had to go into lockdown. Mm. So 5-year-olds going into lockdown where we're in a corner, close all the windows, turn off all the lights, and, flip tables and hide around the tables to make it seem like we're not around.
Just the fact that we have to do that in the world we live in now, I just think is so scary.
But it's not, that was one daycare, and that was very soon after a shooting happened. So our bosses at least wanted us to have the tools to be prepared. Yeah. Like, okay, here's the situation. And we explained to the children, we said, this is for our safety. This is not something that's funny. It's not a joke. I remember doing lockdown at Centennial. So we recently had Jalea, who went to Centennial Regional High School. And we had a lockdown there. This was after the Dawson shooting. Yeah. And us going into lockdown and us actually being scared because a lot of our school family, a lot of the Centennial Regional High School alumni go to Dawson after. We go to Dawson, we go to Champlain. Those are the two, big colleges that we go out to. Mm. So when we heard that there was a shooting at Dawson, that somebody tragically lost their life, we were just like, okay, this is no joke. Like, we hear about it in the States, and we're so desensitized to it happening in the States that, it happens there. It doesn't happen here. So that when it actually happened here, it hit home. Yeah, it really hit us hard.
But also I don't know if you guys watched the Dave Chappelle, his new comedy.
Oh
on Netflix,
yes,
Sticks and
absolutely,
Stones. It's amazing.
I have not.
But it's so true what he said. He said, you know what I mean? Like, by doing these things, you're showing the people who are potentially going to be the ones to shoot up the schools exactly where to go. You know what I mean? And it's so true. In a daycare, it's a bit different. Okay, what's the probability that and
a 5-year-old
would toddler, unless they're baby's kids, gonna walk in there with a knife and attack the rest of their little.
Well, it's not. It wouldn't be a child. It would be maybe a disgruntled parent. It'd be a divorced parent who would be like, I'm not allowed to see my child, or even an educator that they're an ex or somebody who's pissed at them.
That's what I'm saying. It's the people almost internal, the people who are involved that are most likely going to be the ones to commit this horrific crime, and we're giving them a little bit of insight, like we're doing this stuff, right? So it kind of gives them an edge, like it gives them an advantage in a certain sense.
It's not really the educators. It would be someone in their...
Well, it could be anybody. We don't know.
It could be anybody, but it's very rare you'll hear of an educator going and attacking a school.
Mm. And even the parents, they're not there when you guys are doing the drills.
No.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they're made aware of the drill, right? There's nothing that happens at a daycare or a school that the parents are not aware of, or they should be.
Even the fire
of.
drill.
Yeah.
Because the fire drill at the daycare I work at, it's a big deal. We get the fire trucks there.
Wow.
It's evacuate everybody. And so the gym that we have to take our shoes off. And it always happens that we have an animator come in, and it always happens during his class that we have a fire drill. So the children who are in his class are barefoot. Like, they're not wearing shoes. They're in their socks or they're barefoot, and we have to get them out.
Wow.
And down the stairs, and then we have a little building, like the next door building that we can go to if it's raining. But
so like they do the fire drill, like the kids are really asked seriously to leave barefoot?
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah. If there is a fire,
you're a disgruntled mother. You're not
way.
happy about that drill.
There's no way. If a fire were to break out right now, I would put on my shoes. You're so much more efficient running, walking, surviving out in the cold.
You have two children. How long does it take your two children to put their shoes on?
Okay, well, if they're little.
So
they're
now you're looking at 16.
I'm just saying, as an individual,
18 months old.
As an individual, as a mother, I would tell, like, baby, if something happens, put on your shoes quick and go.
No, we tell the parents right away. If there's a fire.
A fire. You're going outside in the snow.
Well, we have covers.
I would rather my kid be out than be.
We
don't let them.
Yeah,
we don't let them.
Quick.
No.
I remember I used to have fire drills in high school. I was always the rebel, as you guys already can tell.
Really? You don't
I always put on my shoes. They're like, leave all your stuff. I would take my wallet, take my phone, pick all that stuff up. Come on, half of those things.
Yeah, but as an adult, you do that. As a kid,
fine. But let's say you have a year and a half.
No, that's 18, definitely 16, too young.
You have 16, 18 months old.
For sure.
And you're going to wait for little Tommy's parent, whose parent
not
told them,
for infants, not for infants. But I'm saying even school, like
even
8,
the 5-year-olds.
High school.
But the chance of them being barefoot is like 0 to none.
Yeah.
Seriously, why is this child in high school going to be barefoot? Like, what are you doing?
In the summertime? No,
why are you barefoot?
You wear like sandals.
You wear sandals, fine. And speaking of sandals, educators, sandals, it has to be it has to be wrapped around your foot. Flip flops, not allowed.
Something that can stay on.
Something that can stay on.
Safety.
Safety.
Yeah.
So even the educators, when the fire drill goes off, when they're in that room, they're not wearing shoes. They're out the door. They take the kids. One's in front, one's in back. All the kids out.
Mm-hmm. All right. So a little bit of knowledge for us. What are 3 things you could really say that? What are you looking at me?
What are the 3 things
that you can say for sure are things that we are doing as a society that are good for our children, especially the young children, and 3 things that we need to stop doing that you see very often.
All right, 3 things. I can start with the 3 things we need to stop doing. Children need to have more time to play. The parents need to spend more time with their children as much as possible.
Okay.
Because we're so on the go and we're so rushed that we're not taking the time to actually see who our child is. And as a third, if you're off work and you have a little chore to do and your child is old enough, keep them with you. Even if you have 2 children who are in daycare, one's a little younger, one's a little older. Yeah, it's gonna suck, but take the older one with you and give the younger one a half day. Like spend that time with them, because I see too often parents will favorize, the older child is easier to manage, so I'm just going to keep them with me more often than the younger child who's more difficult.
Oh, so and do a rotation, you say?
No, you can have days where, today is the older child's day where he's going to spend all day with me, or today's the younger child's day, he's going to spend all day with me. But if you're off work and you're keeping the older child with you because it's easier to manage them than it is the younger one, just give the younger one a half day. What's half a day going to do to you on your day off than spending it with your child?
As a parent, you're not supposed to have any days off anyway.
Some parents do.
Yeah, I don't.
Some parents are lucky enough.
You never have a day off.
Even if you're not, she's meaning day off of work. Yeah. Like you have a day off of work, so in theory you can take care of it.
Like I do, the daycare I work at has rotation, so every 10 weeks I get a Friday off. So I'm already planning. Okay, on my Fridays off, my child's either going to do a half day, or I'm just going to keep them with me all day, and, they're going to run errands with me, or we're going to go do something for them.
Yeah, that's cool.
So now the 3 things that we're doing right as a society.
We have to be doing something right.
Just before that, why do you think it's important for kids to play in their development? And then that's the
best way to learn. That's honestly the best way to learn. Children learn through play. If I put blocks on a table, the children are learning fine motor skills. They're learning colors. They're learning shapes. They're learning they're learning how to share. They're learning how to communicate with each other and say, hey, can I have that block? Or they're learning how not to communicate. If they just take a block and the other child hits them, then, the educator obviously steps in and says, okay, this is how you can handle it. But they're learning. Versus when you're sitting down and you're being told, okay, A is for this and B is for that. You're being told versus learning. It'll be more impactful and it'll sink in a little bit better on them for learning skills.
If playing is so important, everyone learns through play. How come everyone tells me I play too much? What's the problem? I just tell people I'm learning? Like, what's the big deal?
You?
No, doesn't apply to me?
No.
All right, cool.
No, to young kids.
Whatever.
And the 3 things that we, as a society, should do less of or stop.
No, what we're doing good.
That do good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now we're at the second part.
We have... No, the second...
Oh, yeah, sorry.
The second part
Wow.
first, and then the first part. The second part is easier. The first part...
Keep track.
I'm sorry.
Keep on track.
Yes, 3 things that we're doing well. Sorry.
Oh, man, the 3 things we're doing well.
We're not doing anything well.
No,
We're a hot mess.
It goes on a case-by-case basis. Because I can say in general, those are 3 things that in general people are doing wrong, but things that people are doing well. You've got parents who are very involved in their child's schooling, very involved in the school board. Me growing up, my mom was very involved in all aspects of my life. Involved in sports, involved in the school board, involved with my teachers. Like she was very involved, and some parents are like that.
Yeah.
And some parents are very laissez-faire. They let their child learn. They let their child kind of go on their own, which some children, they're able to do that, and it's good for them. So that's why that question's taking me a little bit longer to answer, because there are a lot of parents who are doing really amazing things for their children. Some parents, those are the 3 things that they can do more of, but man, I've worked with such amazing parents. So
you've been blessed. You don't see that.
Gosh.
You don't see a lot of...
Well, you say amazing parents. What is an amazing parent?
A parent who's involved in their child's life.
Okay.
All those the parents who would, hey, so-and-so's not going to be in today. I have a day off. I'm going to keep them at home today. Or, hey, I'm going to come pick them up earlier. Their grandmother has a half day, so I'm going to go drop them off with their grandparent for the day. Parents who are involved.
Some parents just can't do that, though.
Yeah,
you know
and that's fine. But it's the parents who, when they can, they do. And that I find makes them like an amazing parent. And even if they're really unable to, their day off, they really have to hustle and get groceries done. I see they'll come to pick up their child. Hey, I have a surprise for you at home. And the way they talk to their child, or I'd see them at the park and they're playing with their child, and it's not, okay, we're saying, okay, go, you're at the park, okay, go play. The parents are involved. They're going to play. They're up in the play structure. They're doing all kinds of things.
Yeah,
with their
but the
child.
park is an in between. I hate the park. I am that mom who will take them to the park and I'll push. Like, you guys ready to go? The park is boring to me.
Yeah.
And I don't think I love my kids less because I don't like going to the park.
I'm not saying that at all.
I like to have fun with my kids doing the things that I like to do and that we do together, because I don't believe in forcing yourself to do something just because that's what people see a typical good parent does, and you just do it, and then you're just that dummy running up a slide, rolling down the slide, you're not even having fun.
All right, let me throw you a little comparison. We often see on social media say, parents, a new mom. People will say, oh, you're a new mom? I never go out looking mashed up. I don't like that. I always make sure my hair's done.
You got it going on.
No, not even. I just like looking good. And they say, oh, new moms. If a new mom looks, hair messy, puke on them, this, that, that's a new mom, just encourage them. Okay, I encourage you. Good for you. I'm happy you're able to go out like that. Personally, I wouldn't do that.
Right, yeah.
So that's why it goes case by case by case. You can't say, okay, all moms are going to look like this. No, they're going to look like however they're going to look like. So that's why if they see you sitting down, watching your kids play at the park, there shouldn't be a stigma saying, oh, she's a bad mom because she's not playing at the park. Nah, maybe your kids just don't like playing with you at the park. They say, no, mom.
Your mom's boy.
No, go. I don't want to play with you.
Yeah, I want to play with the other
perception.
kids.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all about perception.
Yeah, for sure.
So that mom who you see pushing her stroller while her kid's in there, just smile at her and go, you got this. You got this.
Offer her help. I know it's like someone said it to me once, and it was so true. It's like so often you're out and you see kids misbehaving, and sometimes kids have behavioral issues and stuff like that. Because you know us, West Indian. It's like your kids misbehaving, licks. Like shut up, you're not getting anything. Don't ask me for nothing and go outside, and you have to behave. You know what I mean? Some kids have real issues, and we're so quick to point the finger. But how come, as a society, when we see a mother struggling or we see a kid acting up, how come we never offer help?
Because it's
we
easy
don't
to
do
criticize.
That. Exactly.
But also,
and like.
Also, maybe they don't want help. Maybe you're like, why? Maybe they would be like, why are you offering my help?
Maybe
Yeah,
not offer. Maybe not offer
I'm
help,
trying
but
to, yeah.
you will always give them that look. That like, oh my god, look, there's the one with the kid who's crying. Like,
yeah.
No, you should just smile at them and give them like a sincere smile.
Yeah, just be supportive.
Not
you know
this
what
like, I pity you. Like,
yeah.
No, give them a legit smile of you got this.
Yeah.
And avert your eyes. Just you see the child crying. No, don't look. Just don't even look. Just pretend they don't exist, because when everyone goes around and starts looking, oh, look at this mom, well, how is she going to react? It puts so much pressure on the parent. Like, I have no fear disciplining children in front of their own parents. No fear.
No parents ever
but
come
you're
back to you
you're
and
the
says,
educate.
Some of them have. Some of them said, "Oh, why?" And I've explained to them, like, well, the behavior that they were showing. So let's say there were children running in the hallway. And the parents are there. The parents were talking. One of them said, stop running. They're running. I walked out and I said, hey, it's enough now. We told you to stop running. In normal time, if you were with me, this is not allowed. And I'm like, do I need to ask you to come and sit down so we can talk, or are you going to stop running?
So you're more strict than even the parents.
Sometimes I am.
Gotta put the smack down.
But again, the giving licks. You don't have to give licks. I have one of my cousins. She knows just by the look in my face that she's in trouble. And I just tell her, I'm like, do I have to speak to you? Because if I have to speak to you, I know you're not going to like it, because I'm going to tell it like it is.
Okay.
And some children, they need that. So
yeah.
You ever seen any parents beat their kids?
That'd be some. You have all the questions, man. All the good questions.
Yeah.
Wait, in public?
Yes.
With like physically?
Yes.
That's the best.
Isn't that outlawed?
No.
That's the best. That's the best.
Isn't it outlawed in Quebec?
It's not allowed. You're not supposed to.
I mean, nobody's going to
You're not
report.
supposed
It's not allowed if you get caught.
Aren't you supposed to report them?
You're not reporting that. Listen, if the
No,
kid gets
teachers
licked, they
are
deserve
supposed to report
oh,
when
teachers,
kids
maybe. I wouldn't report it.
It was at a park.
I put on
Wow,
my
we know
shades.
where she stands. Damn.
Some kids need licks, man. It's the truth.
Okay, that's you.
I'm not even. I don't even beat my kids.
No, but like seriously,
But I'm just saying some kids need
aren't
licks.
you supposed to report it?
It wasn't in a daycare. It was at a park.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Let everybody raise their children the best way. When I see people beating their kids, I'm like, this is just the best way they know how to do it.
exactly.
But that doesn't mean that it is the best way, though.
And maybe it's the best way that they know.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it's the best way.
Oh,
Well,
it's. I can
That's
tell you.
all
I can
relative.
tell you. I can
That's
tell
all
you right
relative.
now.
It depends on what your opinion is of the best way of disciplining. But if
Yeah,
I
it
saw
would-
somebody beating their kid, would I necessarily be like, oh my God? I'd be like, yeah, you probably deserved it. You probably deserved it. Because when I got licks, nobody helped me.
Remind me to
helped
show
me.
you the link to a video I saw. I think the show was called Southland, where the little kid called the police on his mom. Police showed up and said, oh, he called the police because, you beat him. And she's like, yeah, she beat me with a belt. This is the belt. And the police took him, brought him out, and she said, look, it's like, why did she beat you with the belt? And he's like, oh, because I was misbehaving. And he went, oh, so you called the police on your mom for beating you for misbehaving. Yeah, it's my right. This police.
How old is it? Well, how old is this?
See
He
the
must,
problem?
he must have been like 8 or 10 years old.
You see my kids need
no.
licks? You see?
But the officer, I laughed. I was just like, yo, this is some real, like, it's Southland or something. Police officer looked at him and went, you know what? I'm like, your mom's not in trouble. You're in trouble. And legit, this officer is like, look, you see this belt? That's nothing. If I have to come back here because your mother tells me you're misbehaving, I'm gonna take my own belt off and give you licks myself.
I don't think that's representative of what the real life would do. Like real life police officers, they would probably have to call social services.
It's a TV show.
Yeah.
No,
Also,
I've
if you're
heard-
8 years old, you're not gonna call.
I've heard of real situations where children have called the authorities on their parents, and the authorities came to the house and asked the proper questions that they need to ask to get the full scope of the situation, and they've actually just left and been like, your mother did that to you because she loves you, and you should start listening to your mother.
Yep.
So people that have some sense will actually see the difference between people disciplining their kids out of love, and that's the kind of discipline I encourage. But the people who are beating their kids like till they're black and blue, like these videos that you see, and you see men putting their kids in the shower and beating them like with hot water, all kind of like, that's just abuse. That's excessive. No one's learning any lesson. Everyone's just getting destroyed, and they're just going to probably repeat that when they get older. It's just terrible.
Or it's psychological.
I don't believe in that.
You know what I found is super cute is like videos of like dads braiding their girls' hair. Like to have a lighter note, that's super cute. Like when you see a dad like braiding his like daughter's hair, I'm like, oh, that's so cute.
That's like my Eric. Eric does the girl's hair all the time. It looks like special, but he does it.
Shout out to Eric.
Shout out to like men taking care of their kids. And because they have a bad rap. I think men in general, like
we don't give them enough. We don't give them enough shine. For sure.
And I always like when I see men like walking around with their kids, I'm like, oh, that's cute. I'm like, no, that's normal. Like I don't know why I have that perception like that. It's like. Yeah, women take care of their kids, but so do men. Like,
you got to change the narrative.
Yeah.
Anyway, Bria.
Yes.
You're on mat leave. You're going to be going back to work in about a year or so.
Yeah.
You look like you're ready to go now. You don't look like the kind of person who just likes to sit around. I'm sure you keep yourself really busy.
Well, like I said, I'm busy with the podcast.
For sure.
And the
usually
kid.
behind the camera. Take care of the baby all the day and night.
Day and night.
But also I'm already back at the gym.
Of course.
The gym just happens to be in the same building as the daycare I work at. So I see my daycare crew all the time. Even during my pregnancy, I would like drive by, wait till they're outside, and like go and just like talk to them or go on their lunch break. We'd all go for lunch. So
that's it.
just, well,
So you're staying busy, looking good.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have it any other way.
No way.
And you do that every day.
And every night.
And every night.
Yeah. And so thank you for the audience for listening. Basically,
Yeah.
And I hope you learned some stuff about your kids washing their hands, pooing.
Oh God!
And then front to back, and with the corner of the inner arm, and all that stuff, and like make sure you register as soon as you have your certificate.
Or make sure you get good with somebody who has a daycare.
Oh yeah,
and go visit.
Make some friends. Make some friends now, like in the daycare industry.
Yeah, and probably the most important takeaway is to follow Day and Night. To like us, to follow us.
Yes.
If you have questions, comments, it's probably going to go through me. So follow us, Facebook, Instagram,
and
what else? Email,
Spotify, YouTube.
Yeah.
Thank you,
See you next week.
We're out, guys.
And